The hospital gave off its usual unpleasant smell. Tang Ying entered the hospital, escorted by Han Yufan's assistant. She was all alone, without a single assistant of her own to support her. After finding Mo Yuru's room, Tang Ying could see Mo Yuru's assistant guarding the door. This was the man that claimed she made all the decisions on her own on the day of the show. He had thrown all the blame on her. "You're here," he said as he looked her up and down snobbishly. He was deliberately trying to make things difficult for Tang Ying. "Just wait here. Yuru is still resting." Tang Ying lifted up her handbag with her 2 hands and looked Mo Yuru's assistant straight in the eyes. With a slow and gentle voice, she asked, "Do you know my surname?" "Nonsense! Who doesn't know your surname is Tang? Since you know my surname is Tang, then you should be aware of my family background. How dare a little assistant like you act arrogantly in front of me? Is that Tang Ying? Please come in." Mo Yuru heard Tang Ying's voice outside and felt disappointed at her assistant's stupidity. If he wanted to go against Tang Ying, this was not the right way. After all, she still had the Tang family behind her, even though they no longer paid as much attention to her as they once did when she was still famous. Tang Ying held her head high and walked into the room, ignoring the angry assistant. Seeing Mo Yuru sitting on the bed acting pitiful with one injured leg, she smiled. "Yuru, are you okay?" Tang Ying knew Mo Yuru had intentionally hurt her own leg in order to prevent Han Yufan from getting married. "This woman is so ruthless. I heard from President Han that we are to film a 3-minute live broadcast. Is that right, Tang Ying? We are like sisters. I'm more than willing to help you with this favor so you can redeem yourself in front of the public." Tang Ying hesitated for a moment. She couldn't believe how shameless Mo Yuru was. She was almost on the same level as Han Yufan. The truth behind the substitution incident was known between the 3 of them. Yet Mo Yuru acted like nothing had happened. Tang Ying looked a little upset as she said in an angry tone, "I only came to visit you. You really don't need to be polite." "That's right. We've already prepared a scene for you in a moment. The doctor will come in to change Yuru's bandages. At that time, in order to highlight your sincerity, we have arranged for you to wash Yuru's feet. That way the public will see how sorry you are." "That's enough," Tang Ying angrily interrupted the 2. "Mo Yuru, the substitution incident. Both you and I know the truth. Don't you think it's time you should stop?" "Tang Ying, what are you talking about? I don't understand. Must you really flip what's right and wrong around?" Tang Ying's voice held a sense of being wronged. "If it was not for Yufan, I would not tolerate you so many times. Have I not helped you enough?" "Tang Ying, it's enough that you won't apologize. Must you also badmouth other people? You've already admitted to creating everything for hype." Mo Yuru was a master of acting. She didn't slip on her words and maintained her innocence. "I definitely won't apologize to you," Tang Ying unexpectedly said in a serious tone. At this time, Mo Yuru's assistant recorded her words and immediately posted the video online with the headline, "Attention-seeking green tea be XXXX being insincere. Secretly declares, I definitely won't apologize to you." In an instant, 1,000 waves were once again stirred up, ready to crash down onto Tang Ying. Reporters flocked to the scene, but no one intercepted Tang Ying, leaving Mo Yuru all alone crying pitifully in front of the camera. "Originally, I thought, since we were both models, I wasn't going to pursue this incident, but Tang Ying has gone too far. Not only did she refuse to apologize, she also threw words of abuse. That's how the war between the 2 began. 2 models that didn't know how to control themselves in front of the public put on a tearful drama, drawing the attention of passersby to stop and crowd around. Tang Ying quickly responded by releasing a statement, apologizing to the public and stating their intention to seriously deal with Tang Ying, giving off the idea that they were going to dismiss her. At the same time, Tang Ying's "I definitely won't apologize to you" became a viral phrase online. Just as everyone was insulting Tang Ying, a famous online personality released an album of photos. The album was titled, "It's Not That Tang Ying Won't Apologize, It's that she shouldn't apologize. The album was filled with photos of Mo Yuru and Han Yufan embracing each other. In the photos, Mo Yuru and Han Yufan were both in the hospital. Han Yufan was on top of Mo Yuru while she was still wearing her hospital gown. All the netizens' eyes lit up in shock as a famous website also responded by demanding in a post, "Reveal the truth behind the Tanging substitution incident." The post included all the fine details of the incident, using the fact that Mo Yuru and Han Yufan were cheating to set the tone. It provided a clear analysis of how Tanging was forced to compromise, then led to being suppressed and finally pushed into reacting angrily. For the sake of love, she was forced to take all the blame. At the same time, her fiancé's mistress was making advances and humiliating her. Like this, the scandal was uncovered. Han Yufan and Mo Yuru's intimate photos spread everywhere, and the netizens finally discovered. Apart from the substitute incident, there wasn't a single piece of bad news about Tanging floating around. Even searching as far back as 3 years, all they could find were pictures of her modeling on stage. As beautiful as ever, this woman, who gave up her career for love, never tried to explain herself even once. Even after the recent incident, she immediately stood out and took on full responsibility. Dear God, everyone has misunderstood Tanging. Mo Yuru really knows how to act. Who would have thought Tianyi would suppress such a poor woman? The tables had once again turned. Countless people online started to feel guilty for having previously judged Tanging. Their feelings for her quickly turned from dark to light. While all this was happening, Mo Yuru was in the middle of an interview. "I no longer know how to evaluate her shamelessness." The reporter was consumed in the moment when her workmate suddenly pulled out his phone to show her something. After seeing the photos, the reporter held up the phone and questioned Mo Yuru. "Miss Mo, are these photos real? What is this?" Mo Yuru's face turned pale. "These are intimate photos of you and the CEO of Tianyi, Han Yufan. Do you want me to go into more detail about what you are doing in the photos exactly?" Mo Yuru froze. Just a moment ago, she was still crying in front of the camera, acting all pitiful. Now, she had suddenly turned into a mistress that had seduced someone else's boyfriend. In their eyes, she was no different from the new models that were selling themselves to move up in the industry. Most importantly, she couldn't find any words to stick up for herself. The reporters felt embarrassed for her. "So, these photos are real, I suppose. On one side, you were crying, while on the other, you were stealing someone else's boyfriend." The female reporter's questions suddenly got tougher. "The photos are obvious. Don't tell me you still want to deny it. No, it's all fake. This is all part of Tanging's plans." Mo Yuru suddenly became helpless in front of the camera. "Don't film anymore. Get out. I don't want to be interviewed anymore. Go." The female reporter let out a cold HMPH. She despised Mo Yuru. "Miss Mo, even though we are all used to being in the entertainment industry, I still have to tell you this. God will punish those that have bad intentions. There is justice in this word." Just by Tanging's actions of stepping out and putting all the blame on herself. "From now on, I will no longer write anything bad about her." Mo Yuru was trembling in fear. As soon as the reporters left, she made a phone call to Han Yufan. "Yufan, have you seen the photos? What should we do?" "It's just photos. What are you panicking about? The company is currently working on a solution." Han Yufan responded calmly. However, inside, he wasn't as calm as he appeared. By exposing everything, not only would it affect Mo Yuru's future as well as Tianyi's, but it could also cause him to lose Tanging forever. After all, he had suppressed her and cheated on her. Tanging must be behind all this. If you didn't pick on her, do you think all this would happen after he spoke? Han Yufan hung up the phone angrily. Then, after finding Tanging's phone number, he gave her a call. It's obviously ringing. Tanging picked up the phone. In reality, Tanging was holding her phone in her hand. She was imagining how anxious Han Yufan must be feeling right now, so she decided not to pick up. After running out of Mo Yuru's room, Tang found a place to hide quietly, while she waited for Mo Ting to send someone to pick her up. To her surprise, Mo Ting had decided to come in person. Tang, get in. After hearing his deep voice, all the uneasiness in her heart cleared. The phone continued to ring, but she threw it into the back seat of Mo Ting's car. You're not picking up, Mo Ting asked, revealing one side of his handsome face. You already know the answer, Tang smirked. Her aim was to make Han Yufan look for her all night and experience how it felt to suffer. Mo Ting stopped talking and focused his gaze in front of him. Meanwhile, Tang's gaze was focused on the black mole on Mo Ting's earlobe. It was like he was born with an earring, giving him a slightly evil and dangerous aura. The way you're looking at me, are you inviting me to kiss you, hug you, or? Tang held in her nervousness. She reached out her hand and grabbed onto Mo Ting's arm, trying to avoid his passionate gaze. Before we go to our new home, could you accompany me somewhere first? After we go, can we finish off what we didn't finish last night, huh? Mo Ting was questioning her casually, but Tang couldn't hide her nervousness because deep down she knew she might not be able to gather the same amount of courage she had the previous night. Mo Ting did not pressure her, nor did he continue to speak. He just allowed her to continue holding onto his arm as he let out a sneaky smile. The two of them didn't end up heading straight home as per Tang's request. Instead, they ended up at a famous cherry blossom forest. This was a place Tang had frequently met Han Yufan for their dates. However, today, she was going to remove him completely from her heart. So, in the end, she finally picked up her phone. I am at the cherry blossom forest, where we always met on our dates. If you still want to see me, then meet me there. I'll see you there. Okay, I'll come right away. Han Yufan agreed immediately. Even though he was having an affair with Mo Yuru, he never intended on giving up on Tang. Where was he going to find another woman that was so easy to trick? Plus, all along she had been loyal to him. She had a good family background, and she had a good temper. Tang hung up and looked over at Mo Ting, who was sitting opposite her. With an honest but choked up voice, she promised, "This is the last time I will speak to him on the phone regarding our personal feelings. From now on, never again." Mo Ting lifted his eyebrows. Without a word, he patted the seat beside him, gesturing for Tang to sit beside him. Giving off a sense of possession, Tang obediently sat beside him. The two of them looked out the window of the restaurant at the scene below. Not long after, an anxious figure appeared beneath the cherry blossom tree. Han Yufan had arrived. So many times in the past had she stood in the same spot Han Yufan was currently standing in, naively waiting all day. 5 out of 10 times she would be stood up. Thinking about it now, the sincerity she had shown was so easily stepped all over. So, being stood up, being played around with, being betrayed. She wanted Han Yufan to experience it all. Will this really relieve your hatred? Mo Ting asked with one arm over Tang's shoulder as he looked at the figures below them. Of course not, but I want him to experience everything I went through, no matter big or small. Mo Ting reached out his long fingers and grabbed hold of Tang's chin. Looking into her eyes, he saw a delicate woman, yet when she was faced with emotional pain, she could deal with things so cleanly. She ended things quickly like she said she would without an ounce of pretense. When ordering, I ordered some foie gras. The waiter said it had come directly from France. I thought it would be quite good. Mo Ting released her from his grasp and let out a surprised smile. How did you know I like it? It's not hard to find out my husband's preferences. Tang gestured for the waiter to start serving their dishes. Let's eat while we chat. Mo Ting looked at her pink and soft, rose-like thin lips. His gaze revealed a trace of danger. But I don't want to chat. I just want to kiss you. Who said he was the entertainment industry's poison? Obviously. The woman in front of him also carried traces of poison that was unknowingly addictive. Downstairs, Han Yufan was still standing in the same spot. Well, upstairs in the restaurant, Tang and Mo Ting were enjoying their meal. Tanging didn't like speaking to Mo Tang about her work, and he understood. After helping Tanging twice, he saw her handle things smoothly this time on her own. This little woman sure isn't weak. However, even though she wasn't weak, she was still Mo Tang's wife. As long as she was his wife, he would make sure she would be doing the bullying and not the other way around. In a flash, 1 hour had passed. Downstairs, Han Yufan continued to wait even though he was getting impatient. During this time, he continuously tried to call Tanging, but Tanging had already turned off all notifications, unknown to him at this moment. In the eyes of Tanging and Mo Tang, he was like a gatekeeper standing guard under the tree. Finally, the two finished their meal. Mo Tang took a glimpse downstairs and asked, "Do you want to continue watching?" "No? I want you to help me move houses." Mo Tang nodded and quickly paid the bill, then escorted Tanging out through the side door. Not long after, the couple arrived at Tanging's home. However, as Mo Tang was about to enter, Tanging requested for him to wait outside for 5 minutes. 5 minutes later, as he entered the house, all traces of Tanging and Han Yufan's relationship were gone. Tanging didn't have to remove much, as Han Yufan never stayed over anyway. "Mo Tang, wait a moment. I am going to pack a few things." Mo Tang examined Tanging's house. He found a huge photo in the living room. It was a photo of Tanging receiving her trophy for the #1 model. If she had never retreated from the industry, she would have already gone international. 5 minutes later, Tanging reappeared from her bedroom holding a teddy bear in her arms. "This is all of my possessions. You don't want anything else?" "No, let's leave the memories behind." Tanging shook her head in certainty. Suddenly, Mo Tang pulled her over to him and pressed down onto her with his cold lips. At first, Tanging was surprised, but not long after, she closed her eyes and returned his kiss. It was not until Mo Tang's hands uncontrollably reached deep under her skirt did the two suddenly stop. "Let's leave the rest for when we get home. But for now, has my kiss made your memories better?" Tanging wrapped her arms around Mo Tang. She could feel his calm breaths. From now on, she wasn't going to let anyone hurt her again. She was going to keep what belonged to her tightly in the palms of her hands. Back at the cherry blossom tree, Han Yufan had been waiting for 4 hours. He originally intended to keep waiting, but then he received a phone call from Mo Yuru. "Yufan, where are you? I am at your home. I can't find you. My stomach is in pain. Yufan, why haven't the photos been removed yet? I'm afraid I will be destroyed like this." Han Yufan woke up in an instant and quickly rushed home. Seeing Mo Yuru standing pitifully on 1 foot outside his door, he couldn't help but run up to her. "I won't let you be destroyed, and I won't let Tianyi be destroyed. Yufan, I only have you. Don't leave me and the baby." Han Yufan comforted Mo Yuru, patting her gently on her back. That night, he forced his staff to release a statement that there were others there at the time. The truth was that Mo Yuru lost her footing because of her injured right leg and accidentally fell into the arms of Han Yufan, with both of them landing on the bed. It's not like how it appeared in the photos. They were kissing on the bed. Most importantly, at a time like this, Han Yufan still wanted to sacrifice Tanging by hinting someone was behind all of this and telling the public not to be fooled. After Han Yufan's PR news was posted up, he paid out a few influential social accounts to help them clean their reputation. In the next 3 days, he used every method he could to clean up Mo Yuru's professionalism and image. Again, his intention was to continue throwing the blame on Tanging. After all, gossip like this usually only lasted a few days before the public became bored. Once news gets released, this little scandal would just disappear into the depths of everyone's memories. It wouldn't be long before Mo Yuru would be able to return to work. Their plan was to help Mo Yuru win the top 10 model awards, and then announced she would be going overseas to study. At that time, she could sneakily give birth to their children. The only reason Han Yufan was willing to accept the child was because Mo Yuru was his first love, and she had stayed by his side patiently for many years. On top of everything, Mo Yuru currently had a promising future, so he wasn't going to give up on this money tree. Tang Ying's manager had an expression of irony as she looked at the PR news Han Yufan had released. She sneaked over to Tang Ying's home and let herself in since she had the keys, but to her surprise, Tang Ying wasn't home. So, out of uncertainty, she decided to give Tang Ying a call. "Tang Ying, why are you home?" Tang Ying was in the middle of filling up a bathtub for Mo Ting. She let out a chuckle. "I haven't had the chance to tell you. I moved houses." "Where did you move to? Is it safe? Does Han Yufan know?" Tang Ying turned around and looked at Mo Ting, who had just entered the bathroom. Just as she was about to explain, she was interrupted by Mo Ting, who didn't realize she was on the phone. "Stuff like this, you should have left it to the maid." On the other side of the line, Longji listened attentively. She heard the voice of a man and immediately asked in a high-pitched voice, "Tang Ying, who are you with? In order to upset Han Yufan, have you used extreme measures?" "I knew it. Who would give a helping hand to a retreated model during this time of chaos?" "You. You're really frustrating me. Is someone supporting you? Where are you? I'll come get you. You don't need to stoop so low. Where are you? I want to see you right now, or else I'll die." Tang Ying didn't know what to do. She looked over at Mo Ting as she covered the mouthpiece on her phone and asked for his opinion. "My manager seems to have a misunderstanding regarding my moving houses, so I need to pop out for a little to explain to her. Do you trust her?" In actual fact, Mo Ting had already investigated Longji in private. She was passionate and professional, even though she was often simple-minded and far from being a top manager. But she was loyal to Tang Ying and was a helpful person to have around. Aha! Then let me immediately go pick her up. Tang Ying thought about it carefully. She understood what Mo Ting meant and trusted his judgment. She was no longer the Tang Ying from the past that would allow others to play games right before her eyes. So she told Longji she would be sending someone over to pick her up from her old house. Longji sighed, giving off a sense of disappointment. Tang Ying smiled as she hung up. She put down the phone and turned to Mo Ting. "I've filled the bath. Are you going to bathe yourself now?" Mo Ting raised an eyebrow as he ray-buttoned his shirt, covering up his attractive collarbone. "We have a guest. The man at the house must be present. Most importantly, I want to bathe with you." Tang Ying blushed, but nodded shyly. Longji was extremely frustrated. She felt it wasn't worth it for Tang Ying to give up so much for Han Yufan. She especially couldn't believe that Tang Ying had willingly thrown herself at a man, when there was obviously no true love in the entertainment industry. Most people in the industry just wanted one night of fun. The next day, they would pretend they don't know each other. How could she be so silly to take part in something like this? Longji was fuming as she walked back and forth cursing under her breath until Lu Qing arrived at the house and saw Longji. "If you want to see Miss Tang, come with me." Longji was familiar with Mo Ting. However, she didn't recognize Lu Qing at all, so she wasn't very friendly towards him. She lifted her leg and gave him a kick. "If anything happens to my precious Tang Ying, I will paralyze both you and your boss." Lu Qing held his tidy hairstyle in place. The sudden kick made it hard for him to keep his image as his face screwed up in pain. "Let's not talk about who's going to paralyze who. Come with me first." Throughout the entire journey, Longji tried to test Lu Qing by threatening him with all different methods, even mentioning Tang Ying's family background. All that was missing was a knife to his neck. Finally, as the car pulled up into the estate, Longji finally grew silent in shock. Hyatt Regency. This was one of the landmarks of the city of Beijing. This estate only housed 30 households. Each household was rich and powerful. Just simply searching up the background of any random house in this area would make the average person speechless. He, who the hell is your boss? Longji felt weak at her knees. "You will find out once you go inside." Lu Qing replied in an annoyed tone. He too had a bit of a temper. Longji's heart nearly jumped out of her chest in fear as the fire inside her subsided. Whoever was inside was definitely not someone she would dare mess with. Not long after, the car swerved in through a metal gate that surrounded a beautiful villa with a fountain out front. Longji was escorted out of the car and into a Spanish palace-style living room. Tang was sitting on the sofa wearing comfortable white home clothes. She didn't have any makeup on, but she was just as beautiful as ever. Tang, what is all this? Did you find yourself a rich old man? Longji asked in a hushed whisper as she approached Tang. Did you sacrifice yourself for the sake of Han Yufan? Longji, there's something I need to tell you, but you can't be upset. Tang pulled Longji onto the sofa next to her, speaking, Did you find a new boyfriend? No, Tang shook her head, holding back a smile. That's good. I'm married. After a couple of minutes, she suddenly burst out. What did you say? You're married. Who did you marry? Why would you play games with your happiness? While Longji was questioning Tang, Mo Ting had just finished dealing with some business issues and appeared out of the study room upstairs. To Longji's surprise, he walked over to just behind the sofa. Tang leaned over affectionately and whispered gently into Tang's ear. Tang turned to face Mo Ting and nodded obediently. I know. I won't take longer than half an hour. Mo Ting was pleased with her response. He observed Longji for a moment and headed back upstairs. Everything that happened in this short moment was enough to make Longji freeze in disbelief. Tang, quick, pinch me. I want to know if I'm dreaming. Why? Tang tugged at her to bring her back to her senses. So, the person you married is the CEO of High Root Entertainment, Mo Ting. Aha! For real, Longji asked again to confirm. You're not seeing things. It's him, my new husband. Tang nodded seriously. After hearing her answer, Longji went from extreme sadness to extreme happiness. No wonder your article stayed at the top of search rankings, and Han Yufan had no way of removing it, no matter how much money he spent. Tang, this is such a great surprise. You've made the right decision. If you're going to get married, it definitely can't be with trash like Han Yufan. I just never thought you would actually marry the CEO of High Root Entertainment. Hai Rui is on a whole new level than Tianyi. So refreshing. This completely cures my hatred. If Han Yufan was to find out, how satisfying would that be? But I do not have plans to announce my relationship with Mo Ting as of yet. Tang explained calmly. She gave off a confident and dazzling aura. With the help of Mo Ting, I know my career would advance in leaps and bounds, but other people would only acknowledge me as Mo Ting's wife and not Tanging the model. 3 years ago, I managed to become the top model in Beijing. Now, 3 years later, I am confident I can do it again with my own ability. I will retrieve what originally belongs to me. Longji, if you are still willing to help me, then we are going into this together. If you don't want to, I won't pressure you. I will help you cancel your contract with Tianyi and help you find a job at a better company. What nonsense are you speaking? Of course, I want to stay by your side. I want to become the top manager of an international supermodel, Longji replied confidently. But are you planning to stay at Tianyi Entertainment? What do you think? Tang gave Longji a look, letting her figure the answer herself. Han Yufan has used me so many times. No matter what, I will pay him back for it. After hearing what Tang had to say, Longji burst out laughing as she leaned on Tang, her shoulders shaking from laughter. Tang, I realized all these years I have known you has been a waste. I never knew you could be so sneaky. So what's the next move? What should we do? Release the video? No, let's secure a spokesperson deal. To be precise, let's take what originally belonged to me right out of Mo Yuru's hands. Afterwards, Mo Yuru's fans will definitely complain. The video should be released at that time. Longji, you will need to work hard for a little longer. Help me edit the clips from the Crown Star show and post it online. Okay, no worries. Leave it with me. After hearing the plan, Longji's eyes lit up as she nodded her head. Most importantly, She had discovered Tanging was different. She used to be weak and fragile. But who would have thought, when triggered, she would be this powerful? After their conversation, Tanging asked Luce to escort Longji home before she got up from the sofa and headed back into the beautifully scented bedroom. Mo Ting had just changed into a robe and was sitting on the sofa enjoying a glass of red wine. His chin tilted up, giving him a more defined jawline like a perfectly carved sculpture, making one's heart flutter. Tanging was nervous, but still walked over to sit beside Mo Ting. Mo Ting continued sipping from his glass, when suddenly, he reached over and grabbed onto her shoulder as he placed his lips against hers. He still had the wine in his mouth as he shared the aromatic flavor with Tanging. Tanging was caught off guard as her face flushed red. Mo Ting laughed gently as he kissed her on the tip of her nose. If you can't drink, you will be at a disadvantage when invited to events. You need to train. Tanging pushed her body against Mo Ting's smooth chest. In that case, President Mo, what do you propose? Drink a small glass every day. What do you say? Using the same method as just then, Tanging raised her eyebrows with a slightly provocative look. Mo Ting couldn't help but let out a gentle laugh as he nodded. Did you like it? Tanging nodded. Let's do that then. After he spoke, Mo Ting once again raised the glass to his lips. Using the same method, he once again leaned over, but this time, after they had finished drinking the wine, they did not separate. They continued to kiss passionately as they treated the sofa beneath them like a bed. As Mo Ting's intermittent kisses slowly made its way to other parts of her body, Tanging could feel her body shaking. She could no longer think straight. Never had she experienced such an electrifying feeling, making her whole body weak like sand. In the heat of the moment, all she could see was Mo Ting's handsome nose bridge and his soft lips. But she could feel his strong arms. And, Mo Ting, let's go to the bed. I don't want to do it on the sofa. Hearing her plea, Mo Ting suddenly stopped, looking down at her long, slender legs, so beautiful like the tail of a mermaid. He held in his desires as he wrapped Tanging in a bathrobe. He lifted her up and took her into the bathroom, placing her gently into the bathtub. What is it? Mo Ting wrapped a towel around his body and kneeled before Tanging. He lifted her chin and spoke. I want your heart first. When I am the only person in your heart, I will make you completely mine. After he finished speaking, Mo Ting stood up, but Tanging reached out her hand to grab hold of his towel. I do not dislike Tess doing this. Do you still not trust me? Mo Ting patted Tanging gently on the head, calming himself down at the same time. I really want you. You don't know how attractive you are, but I want all of you. Body and heart. I want to wait for you to be certain. Tanging nodded, holding onto Mo Ting's left hand. It's been a long time since someone has treated me with respect. Mo Ting understood what she meant. Even though he wanted to crush Han Yufan into pieces, Mo Ting had faith. Tanging would be able to depend on her own abilities to get what she wants. The next morning, the scandal between Tianyi's two models had already been replaced by the new headlines of the day, while at the same time, Han Yufan and Mo Yuru's rumors had been covered up by Tianyi's PR. The hype of entertainment news had always dissipated as quickly as it appeared. However, due to Tanging's responsible attitude of standing out and taking on all blame, she had gained herself a huge number of new fans. These fans were now searching online for Tanging's old appearances and photos no one noticed. Tanging at this moment was slowly making a comeback, especially during the Crown Star show. Tanging's performance had definitely surpassed all the current hottest models. Her new fans felt it was unfair for Tanging to go to waste, so they all started sharing her videos online while contacting HF. After seeing the videos of Tanging, HF was amazed by Tanging's beauty. In particular, after seeing Tanging's multitude of photos and poses, the designer that had got angry at Tanging on the day of the show suddenly realized how well Tanging matched his jewelry. It was like they were made for each other. HF's designer pondered for a little bit. His judgment was previously affected by Tiany's lies. But now that he had time to calm down and think about it, Tanging's elegance and professionalism was definitely better suited to the theme of the crowned star. Also, because of Tanging's attitude towards admitting wrong, HF had developed a sense of trust towards her. So, the higher-ups of HF quickly gathered together for a meeting to discuss swapping the spokesperson. In the end, they came to a consensus. A phone call was made to the office of the president of Tiany Entertainment. Mr. Eugene, Yuru is almost recovered from her injuries. The release of your new product definitely won't be delayed. No, I'm not calling about that. Marhan Yufan, we would like to swap spokesperson. We would like to swap Mo Yuru for Tanging, he said in perfect English. After hearing the request, Han Yufan didn't know how to react. No, Mer Eugene, I don't think that's right. We haven't officially signed the contract yet. If you are not willing to swap for Tanging, we'd rather cancel this collaboration and look for another company to work with. We have other models, ones that are more famous than Mo Yuru. We only want Tanging. Mr. Eugene was set on his decision, leaving Han Yufan with no choice but to agree. However, this deal was originally Mo Yuru's means of securing the top 10 model awards. Who would have thought Tanging would end up benefiting instead? With this change, Mo Yuru was definitely going to throw a tantrum. The news quickly spread to Longji. HF had made a call to Han Yufan's office, requesting to swap spokesperson. So when she spoke to Tanging on the phone, she was exceptionally excited. Tanging, you got the deal. Don't get ahead of yourself. Mo Yuru isn't going to let this happen so easily. Tanging didn't let her guard down, even though she had the situation in the palm of her hands.